What's up everyone, I'm Legendori, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a deck profile on Kennen, Heart of the Tempest. We're going to go over everything that you need to play in purple-yellow. Even though it's not Viego, it's something that I still enjoyed. We have a wonderful deck that includes tentacles and might be something fun that you can take to locals or even to your competitive events. It pairs really well into Aurelia, Diana, and the meta, so hopefully you find something here you like. And if you have any changes or suggestions in mind, feel free to let me know. For now, let's get into it. Starting off with our Kennen overnumber, Heart of the Tempest. The Kennen legend effect states, when you play a card from anywhere other than your hand, empower me. That means playing your CC, playing a Nocturne off the top of your deck, playing a card with flow, or playing a card with fizz. Action, disempower me and tap him. Give a unit Assault 2. This is relevant because you sometimes have to climb over things like Master Yi defenders or other units on battlefields, and you can even give something like a Tentacle +2, which is pretty good. Now let's get into the rest of the deck. Next we have our Kennen CC unit. I play purple Kennen, I play the alt because we pulled one. It's a 3 energy, 1 power Kennen Storm of Shuriken. When you play me, burn 2. Extremely relevant, very useful to play on the draw or when you need to put cards in your graveyard. When I conquer, give a spell in your trash flow equal to its cost this turn. This is super relevant, mostly early game, but extremely relevant late game when you need to play cards like the Harrowing or other cards that are worth more than what their flow cost normally is. Or you can just give a rush its original cost instead of paying the power, which sometimes is super relevant. It's also a great unit at 4 might. With the Assault 2, you can swing over most of anything at 6. Oh yeah, this is the acrylic single display TCG card holder from Lockbox. Something you can get on lockboxtcg.com. The link is in the description. You can use my code LD5 to get 5% off your order. They have a bunch of other cool stuff, including all my sleeves. I play in relics, both in pink and white. These acrylic single displays fit everything from metal cards to overnumbers to signatures. I trust them. I've put all of my metal cards in here before. I use every overnumber I play with, I put in this acrylic display. I would naturally keep it displayed, but I always keep it with me and play it at locals. It's light, but it's heavy, it's durable, it fits cards in their sleeve, inside, it doesn't move, it's magnetic, so it holds everything together. Honestly, it's my favorite display. I literally give these out to people at locals. It is the most useful utility outside of sleeves so far. We have a brand new set of purple and yellow runes. The unfortunate part is, I have more yellows, but this deck doesn't play them. So we play 9 purples and 3 yellows. The yellows are only relevant for the few cards inside and main, like Salvage Call. Outside of that, you need purple for everything. And if I could play a deck of 12 purple, I would. In fact, I was in testing. Shout out Luik. Next, let's do the battlefields. OG Miracle Days tells me my blind battlefield is Veiled Temple. You play this battlefield if you're not playing against the mirror. Realistically, they don't have gears. Nobody has gears. They're restanding unless it's the mirror or Ezreal these days. If you don't want to give them that advantage, you can always just blind Minefield instead. But I prefer to blind Veiled Temple. It's good it doesn't give them that much of advantage. My next battlefield, usually if I need to side out 1 or 2 Traveling Merchants, is Zon Warrens. Zon Warrens is an amazing battlefield that gets you a lot of sifting through your deck. It's not necessarily Onslaught, but you do play with a lot of graveyard recursion, so you need cards in your graveyard. And then my third battlefield is Minefield. Often I play this battlefield going second, so I play this battlefield on the draw, so if you win game 1, you play this. Most people don't get advantage from this. They like, if it's a green deck, they hate burning all their cards. Having people mill off the top is useful because you get to see what's in their deck, but you also get to remove cards from their hand or cards they're looking for. It's unfortunate in a matchup with flow, so you do have to make a decision about whether or not you think it's useful or the correct lineup. But so far, it's been good. Okay, let's get started into the deck. 3 Treasure Hunter. Treasure Hunter is an amazing card. I was playing a version without it, but the more we were testing with my friends, the more they were playing versions with it. I love the fact that you can play this with Ride the Wind and get like 3 gold a turn. I love that even with 1 might, you can give it Assault if necessary, and it can climb over most things like Tentacles or other 2-drops. Getting the gold is extremely relevant because you need to pay a lot of power in this deck. If you don't have access to your seals, you definitely need these cards. I confuse these names all the time. This is Treasure Hunter. This is not Treasure Hunter. This is, I literally did it live. This is Traveling Merchant. Traveling Merchant is a great card to help sift you through your deck. Another card that's beautiful on Ride the Wind because every time he moves, he discards 1 and draws you a card. Extremely useful, extremely relevant. I do side this out potentially if I need to side in more cards into a mirror matchup or something else, because if you're on the draw and you don't need a 2-drop on the draw and you're on Zon, then you will have the ability to conquer and get those cards back. So sometimes like 1 or 2 of these come out. The one of Tide Turner. Tide Turner is an extremely useful purple card. You can hide the card. You can move cards from one location to the other. It's not a great holding card, but if you need to double conquer, which this deck often does, you're playing on tempo, it is Miracle or Tempo Kennen, you are going to play this, move a card that is still not exhausted back from one battlefield, and immediately swing into the other. Very useful, honestly. Previous versions of the deck, I played 3. You don't need to see this many. You have cards or other ways and other abilities to play cards from your graveyard outside of Fizz. You don't need to recur Fizz as often because you can always just star-cross your own Fizz and bounce them back to your hand. You can't really recur Fizz from the grave without Shovel, but there's enough Shovels and enough ways to hold or conquer to do that if you burn out all your Fizzes. Realistically, it's fine at 2. You don't need to play it at 3, but if you really struggle, I'd maybe consider bumping it up. Fizz is another one of those ways to play all of your cards from grave. You can recycle your spells. How the stack deck works is when you play Fizz and you choose stack deck, you do the stack deck effect. You look at the top 3 cards, maybe play a Nocturne, choose another card, put the third card from stack deck at the bottom of your deck, recycled. Then you recycle the stack deck. That's how that works. For those who don't know. Next we have my perfect but not perfect, imperfect Nocturne the Horrifying. Nocturne Horrifying is a 4 energy, 1 power unit that's a 4 might bomb. And I say bomb because he has ganking. So when he's on a battlefield, he can move from one battlefield directly to the next. You don't need Ride the Wind. You don't need to do anything else. It's not even that part. It's the part that lets him play for a power recycle when you view him from your deck. So when you play stack deck or when you play rush or some other way you can view the top cards of your deck. Let's say you're playing a baited hook version. You can play Nocturne by recycling either a power, paying for it with a gold, or paying for it with a seal. And he can come in for 4 on that. Sometimes hitting a Nocturne off the top is great, especially turn 1 or 2. Sometimes drawing Nocturne does not allow you to do that, and so he often is then discard fodder. I can't tell you the amount of times I've definitely drawn 1, mulliganed it, and drawn for turn, and it's another, but I can tell you that I've had some explosive turns that really make this deck crazy. So if you're lucky enough and the luck is in your favor, play Nocturne at 3. The pseudo boss monster of the deck we have next is Rasa. Rasa is a 10 energy, 1 power, 6 might unit that effect reads, I cost 1 less for each card in your trash. This deck facilitates and fuels putting cards in your trash. So you never ever pay for Rasa outside of the power. And because you have seals and gold, you can cheat out Rasa for basically free. This is a great top end card because it's a 6 might unit that with the Assault 2 from the Kennen Disempower can become an 8. It can climb over a lot of things, and if it can't climb over a lot of things, it can hold pretty well too. I've often left 3 of these on a battlefield just on a passing turn to hold, just so you can get a win and secure a hold point. The real boss monster of the deck though is Baron. Baron Nashor is a 10 energy, 3 power, 12 might unit that when you play it adds a Baron Pit battlefield to the game. So the initial game starts with 2 battlefields and you get a 3rd battlefield that you can place anywhere. When the Baron enters the game though for the first time, it starts a showdown because it's on a new battlefield. Baron can't be chosen by enemy spells and abilities, so you can pump this, do whatever you want to this yourself, and it gives a board wide pump to all of your units. Other friendly units have +2, so it makes your Merchant 4, it makes your Kennen 6, it makes your Rasa 8, it makes your Nocturne 6. These are big numbers that meet the thresholds for what the meta is currently playing at, and because you have so many units doing so many things, once you get Baron out, there's a high key chance you don't lose the game. I've played Baron maybe raw like twice. Often you're cheating this out because it's just 1 Baron. You're probably going to mill it, you're probably going to trash it, and you play another card, a spell called the Harrowing, which we will get to in the next section, that revives a card from your grave and by only paying its power. And because you have a ton of gold, and because you have a ton of seals, you're not paying that energy. So you get access to Baron a lot easier, and it's kind of like a combo that does win you the game because you're holding on 5 or 6 with 2 battlefields. If they pass back to you, you just win the game. 3 Lightning Rush. Lightning Rush is a great card. It's like a pseudo stack deck. I know I used the word pseudo a couple times now, but realistically a lot of these cards are the same thing. Lightning Rush lets you look at the top 3 cards of your main deck. You may choose a card from it, draw it, not pick it, draw it, and then trash the rest, which helps facilitate filling the trash for your other cards. But this card, if you see multiples of it, let's say it ends up in the grave, or after you play it, you can cast it again. Magic players know this as flashback. We have it now as a keyword called flow. Its flow cost is 2 energy and 1 power, but when you play the card, you have to banish it, so you can't keep recycling it. It's extremely useful to play this card, especially late game when you have them in your grave, because you can start looking for cards and pieces of the board you need. It is a replacement stack deck. It puts cards in the grave, where stack deck puts cards back into your deck as recycled. Speaking of stack deck, we have 3 stack deck. This card, plus Fizz, plus Lightning Rush, lets you see a lot of cards from your deck. I'm often going down to the last 10 cards in my deck when I play a game, if I'm on fire and if the luck is on my side. This card lets you look at the top 3 cards of your main deck, put 1 in your hand, recycle the rest. At this point, stack deck is a staple purple card that gets played in most, if not all, purple decks. It's a great card for choosing what you want and finding the solutions to problems. Speaking of solutions to problems, I wasn't playing it, but I did decide and agree that it was a useful card, especially in the higher tier meta where you're playing against other decks that just have 2 drops trying to get on the battlefield before you. Even in the mirror, it's a great card. We're playing 2 Gust. Sometimes you see it, you can recast it from your grave to bounce a unit. It returns from the battlefield 1 3 might unit or less. You can even bounce your own Fizz if you want to, because Fizz is 3 might or less. It's a reaction card, so you can play it last in the chain. It's a last resort protection. Or it just helps you swing tempo in your favor by denying their play a unit, move a unit up 2 turns. What more could you ask for in a card? I debated very heavily between Hard Bargain and Abandon. I find the usefulness in both Abandon and Hard Bargain. I really like Hard Bargain because in the mirror and in a lot of other games, they're tapping out for big spells, and so there's no way they have an extra 2. However, sometimes you want to put a card back in their hand, like Imperial Decree, or something you know they're not going to cast again, or they're going to use on their final turn. So, sometimes I can see it being Abandoned instead. I like Hard Bargain though, so I play 1 Hard Bargain in the main. I was previously playing 3 Ride the Wind because I really like Dizzy's list. I found a way to mash in all the cards I wanted. Like similar discussions with Gust, you don't need to play 3 of something. You will probably open this, and if you don't open this, you will eventually see it. All you need to do in your combo situation is see Baron and Ride the Wind, or Rasa and Ride the Wind, even an opening with Treasure Hunter and Ride the Wind. I would consider changing this back to 3 if you really want to see it all the time, but you can play it with Fizz. It's an action card. It's a good card to protect your units, but also get your tempo and circle around the battlefields with getting you points. What more could you ask for? It's a great purple card. Rebuke. This deck has a problem with getting all of its spells countered by green Defies. Rebuke is a great card that can't be defied. It costs 2 power. Defy is a green card that can counter anything like 4 or less energy and also 1 or less power. So if you play spells that are 2 power, they can't stop you. Or they're going to need more cards to stop you. Rebuke is a great card because it removes a unit, a problematic unit like an Aurelia or an Akali or something on a battlefield that is interacting with your units. If you find that you're about to lose a big hold or something else, you can just play Rebuke. Rebuke is honestly, it's a saving grace. Against other purple decks, or green decks, or anything that's a Protect the Queen kind of comp, Call of the Week is a great card that you can cast once to let they choose to remove a unit, and then you can cast it again from your grave with Fizz. Or you can give it flow and cast it again from your grave anyways. Most of these spells are power spells that are useful for certain situations. So I like to play 1 of, with the consideration that you can probably play them again after you play it the first time. Or you can play it from your grave if you trash them. This one's a great combat trick. You're playing 1 Titaner and you're playing Switcheroo. You can hide them on battlefields. Again, if you're holding for a good swing, if they're going to Switcheroo you can Switcheroo them back so you can get your might back. Switcheroo is a great card. I didn't often love it in the previous Miracle builds because you were playing Draven. You were obviously usually a lot higher in might. For the Kennen cards, a lot of them are very small might cards, and so I think like even a Tentacle with Switcheroo on it is kind of nuts. I played 2 Star-Crossed. I couldn't find a way that I was happy with having 1 Star-Crossed inside, so I played both in the main. Star-Crossed, like Ride the Wind, is an extremely useful card to get them off the battlefield, or protect your cards that you want to keep, like protecting a Fizz, removing problematic units, or also hitting base. Hitting base is relevant because Rebuke hits them only on the battlefield, but if they're playing very careful, they're keeping their units in their base, and you need to remove them by just bouncing them back to their hand. I often beat Diana by just bouncing the Hui twice. They can't get any tempo. They're down ramping every time they play Hui. Power 1 of Tentacles. Up from the deep, I play 1 of this. I went from 3 to 2 to 1. I considered bumping this back up to 2. Maybe I take out the second Star-Crossed. Maybe I choose between a different spell. I like this card because it gives you tempo. I like this card because if they're playing Call, you can kill your own Tentacles. I like this card because it's just a great tempo card. I just did not see the need for it with all of my units and all of my spam abilities. I could even play 2 Nocturne and 2 of these, but I feel like I'm not getting the most explosive power out of them. Tentacles at the end of the day are still only 1 might, and if you're not playing a Lowy or something to make them bigger, or more switcheroos, or more might changers, there isn't much more you can do with these tentacles. The tentacles also have flow, so you can just play them from your grave. Again, you get a maximum of like 6 tentacles. That's what I kept in my deck box. Last but not least, a power spell, the Harrowing. The Harrowing lets you play a unit from your trash, ignoring its energy cost. You can play this card to get your Fizz back, but you're mostly playing this to get your Baron. It's going to cost you 2 power and 6 energy. That's a lot. So on a big Baron turn, even if Baron's in the grave, as long as you have 6 energy and 2 power, and then an additional 3 more power for Baron, all you need is 5 purple. All you need is 5 purple to play Baron. That's it. This card's a great card for that. I missed it from playing it in Silver Aurora from before. It's a very useful, very cheap, very simple card, but it's extremely valuable in this deck. And then to our gear. We play 3 Seal of Discord. My beautiful, beautiful seal over numbers. This seal didn't curse me this time around. I didn't feel like it was a rarity difference. I love playing these cards. I love seeing these cards. I think they did an amazing job with the overnumber seals. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I hope to see more things like this, like maybe overnumber battlefields in the future. And last but not least, Last Rites. My Diamond Shovel. I play 2 of these because you might mill 1. You see this card, you keep this card, you play cards from your grave by recycling 2 and equipping it to a unit. It gives it a +2, which gets us to that special might threshold already. And when you conquer or hold, you can play a card from your grave, a unit from your grave for its cost. Which, honestly, I've never done it with Baron, but I've definitely done it with Rasa, because once you have seals and gold, and there's Rasas in the grave because you play so many of them, you can just tap your seals, tap your gold, or recycle a power to play Rasa again. You're not worried about milling your cards and putting them in the trash because you can get them back with the shovel. But if you don't have shovel, be careful. Finally, to the side. For my side deck, I play 2 Salvage. 1 for the Mirror, but 1 for Ezreal. In the Ezreal matches, I have yet to see it. Salvage is a good card. I considered playing 1 in main, 1 inside. Just having an assortment of the power yellow spells in your deck, I find way more important and useful, but it hasn't come up because I haven't played against a lot of geared decks recently, so I feel like just having 2 in the side and then siding them in is better. Our Lux cards. Invert Timelines and Divine Judgment. I play 1 of each of these cards. Invert discards their entire hand, lets us both draw. I have actually found this extremely useful against green matchups because in green decks, they fill their hand with Stella or other draw abilities, and I did this to a Nasus player and it was extremely useful. You can just get rid of their hand, put you both in the same game state. You're often doing a lot with your cards in your hand. Rarely I've wanted to not use invert because I was worried about my hand, so refilling my hand is good, but you run the risk of drawing into your Nocturnes, so maybe just check your grave first before you invert. Secondly is Divine Judgment. Each player chooses 2 units, 2 gear, 2 runes, and 2 cards in their hands, and you recycle everything. It's basically a board wipe, a hand wipe, a rune wipe, all in one. It resets the game state. It stops them from going infinite. It stops people from getting too far ahead. I found this card is also really good for decks that go really wide, so other yellow decks like Azir or token variants of Victor. These 2 are pretty useful for those matchups as well. Another thing for decks that go wide, returning, and the Mirror, by the way, return all units and gear to their owner's hands, Downwell. This is a card you can play raw for sure. Downwell bounces everything. You don't mind all your cards being bounced because at the end of the day, most of your power is in your grave. And often getting back your cards and just recasting them is totally okay. But this is crazy work for Azir or yellow decks that go wide, or even the Mirror, because they build up tempo and work towards a game state that is good for them, and you want to just reverse it. Speaking of gear, Ravenbloom Prefect. This is a great new card that is a 3 energy, 3 might unit. It's a unit that has an ability that affects gear. When an opponent plays a gear, you may banish me to banish it. So you may lose the unit, but you get to banish their gear. You don't get to send it to grave, you don't trash it, you don't remove it in a way that might give them an advantage. You banish that card. And I like the effects that make this worthwhile. This is supposed to be in here for Aurora, but it became useful against Ezreal, became useful against Aurelia. Honestly, it's a great new card that would see a lot of play going forward. My second call of the week, because when you're playing against green or other power decks that only require 1 monster like Diana, you just want to side out a different card and play call of the week. Get rid of their board, get rid of their units, get rid of cards that can affect them. I played against an Akali. This was extremely useful because they were never on the battlefield. I got rid of Jhin, who had Deflect, without me choosing it or paying the power. I got rid of Akali. I get rid of Aurelia. I get rid of... what do I get rid of in the mirror? I get rid of other Rasas and other cards in the mirror that like seem effective, but we play other cards from the mirror. This is all secondary cards, second version, so when you want to double up on cards for your side, we play a second hard bargain and a second switcheroo. Switcheroos for the big mighty decks, the Nasus, the anything else. Honestly, this was the only card that I've seen useful in Nasus, even though he has Deflect 2. Cards get big and they swing over. Anyone that plays Watcher into you, they're going to minus your might, swing into you. You have a hidden card. They're probably assuming it's a Tide Turner. You switcheroo into them. Hopefully, if you're not paying Deflect, hopefully you have enough gold and seals to pay the Deflect if you have to. But switcheroo is extremely impactful there. And the second hard bargain, honestly, like I said, it could be abandoned. It could not be. I have yet to decide really truly. This video is made on the Friday before we go to the Ottawa Showdown. I'm hoping this is a good lineup and a good idea for my deck. But I'm really concerned that this probably should be abandoned instead. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you do play this deck, let me know what you think about the speed. If you have any suggestions, any rune changes, any specific colorway matchups, or power spells that you found were helpful in your meta, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please subscribe. We just hit 700 subscribers. I'm extremely thankful for all of you who watch these videos all the way to the end. If you do watch this video to the end, let me know what you guys think about the new runes that are either in the Nexus Knight or in the alts of Vendetta. I really love the alts from Vendetta. I'll probably collect an entire set just for myself to keep forever. But let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, thank you for watching, subscribe, and I will see you guys later with more deck profiles. You guys love the deck profiles, so I'll be happy to make more of them. I've been testing a lot of decks and playing a lot of things, so let's see what we make.